it was like ghosted. They ghosted everybody.
Mhm.
Like our whole team was like, anybody got anybody? Like we need some help.
Yeah.
And I got this one lady, and I mean, like I got on the phone with her, and she answered my phone calls. She was like, "I'm working on this for you," and we ended up tracking down like suspended funds, and with interest payment on top of that. So you know, it was a big win for our client.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Whitley Penn Talks, where we give you valuable insights to help you make confident, informed decisions and move your business forward. My name is Kendall Newcomb, and today we're back with another episode of A Crude Bit of Humor. We're here today with Buffy Campbell, who everyone out listening is probably familiar with. And then we have a brand new guest in Emily Glass. She's a mineral management manager here at Whitley Penn, and we're so excited to get into the conversation today. Before we do that, Buffy, will you remind the audience kind of your background and your focus here at the firm?
Sure. So I am the managing director for our mineral management group. Our primary focus is mineral owners and then helping them kind of figure out the oil and gas space. We manage a lot of their royalties. We manage their working interest, their mineral leasing kind of stuff. Anything that has to do with that mineral ownership, we can take that over for them and make sure they're getting paid correctly, make sure their property taxes are being paid correctly. Deeds are where they're supposed to be, titles where it's supposed to be. We just kind of handle everything on their behalf.
Yeah, definitely. And you're a veteran now on this podcast channel, so this is probably double digits in episode count for you. I don't know specifically, but we're glad to have you back for sure.
So excited to be back. I love doing this. So much fun.
Yeah, every time we have a blast.
Who knew
And
this would be the next aspect of the career phase? But
right, mineral management to podcasting. It's a pretty strong pipeline.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Emily, will you share a little bit about your background with the audience and
Yeah.
so that they know kind of who we're talking with today?
Yeah, absolutely. I am a mineral manager here at Whitley Penn. I met Buffy actually, I don't even know how many years it's been.
Not too many. We're not that old.
We're not that old. True. But at a amazing narrow event actually. And I met her and Jason, a couple of our other team members. And yeah, came on board, and I love it here at Whitley Penn. It's so fun. I grew up out in West Texas, so I always tell everybody I grew up around pump jacks, kind of in my blood. So yeah, I love being a part of the team here. It's a blast.
And we
Awesome. Yeah,
love
you've even
having
got
Emily. She's fantastic to work with.
we
Oh my
do,
gosh,
we
she's
do.
great.
Thanks, Buffy.
She's even got a pump jack behind her, so
I
we've
do.
got
Yeah.
office art that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Matches.
Awesome.
We live and
Awesome.
breathe the oil and gas industry around here. We love
Yeah.
it.
We do. That's the Texas in us for sure.
Really is.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, as we kind of get into the content today, I know we're going to talk a lot about owner relations. We'll talk about mineral management, kind of like we always do on these Crude Bit of Humor episodes. But we've got a few questions that we'll dive into, and we'll have a great open conversation from there. So to kick us off, I know, Emily, you just mentioned that you grew up in Midland. A little birdie told me you happen to be a fifth-generation mineral owner yourself, which is a really big deal. So tell us a little bit more. What's one lesson that you've learned that every royalty owner should know before contacting an operator?
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I am a fifth generation mineral owner, and very just thankful. I've learned a lot. Still really young in the industry, but I've learned a ton. I think one of the biggest things for me before I go and contact an operator is to make sure that I understand the issue that I'm actually having. A lot of times, like, you can be frustrated. You're like, oh, I didn't get my payment on time, or, I didn't see this well, or there's a number of different things, but really understanding, okay, what is it that I'm dealing with right now? And how do I best communicate that to the operator so that way I can work with them to get the issue resolved? Um, so yeah, I would say that's one of the biggest things for me, and super simple, but just understanding my problem before I reach out, honestly.
Sometimes
Yeah,
the simplest answer is the best answer right there. And
Yeah.
it is just organization
Yeah.
before just throwing everything at an owner relations department, because
Mhm.
they're a large grouping of people. They have a ton of wells that they represent for that particular owner. There may be a merger and acquisition, something else going in the background. but they've got a ton of owners that they're dealing with. So the more succinct you can be,
Yeah.
the better. And
Yeah.
the quicker you're going to get a response back from them as well. So
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of our listeners may not necessarily be in the oil and gas space directly. When we're talking about owner relations, what kind of departments are those? What kinds of questions do they answer? How can you be organized before reaching out directly?
Yeah, I would say like the owner relations group is the gatekeeper for every oil and gas company.
Yep.
They're the first point of contact. So they may not be the person that's actually going to solve the problem that you're dealing with, but they're probably the first person you're going to talk to.
hmm
So, having all your ducks in a row before you go and you email them, or you try to call them is super helpful because then they can help direct you in the right way. And like Buffy said, I mean, they're getting hundreds of emails and phone calls a day. Like it's wild the number of people that are reaching out to these owner relations groups, and expecting a quick response. I think that's human nature. We expect to be answered like that.
For sure.
But they're the gatekeepers. They're filtering through a ton of requests. So yeah, I think just having all your ducks in a row before
Yeah.
reaching out.
Yeah, definitely. A little
Yeah,
bit maybe easier said than done, but important to take those steps
for
and
sure.
try to get your ducks seemingly in a row
Yes.
before
Yeah.
before reaching out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
that's a big deal.
definitely.
Have you noticed a lot of like artificial intelligence being implemented by these operators at this point with instead of an owner relations person? Are we using AI a little bit
Yeah.
more?
Yeah, a lot for like automated responses too.
hmm
So, and I know that can be frustrating for owners. They don't want the automatic response, but
Right.
it does help the operator filter through things. And so, yes, there is a increase in the use of AI across the board. I think, at least what I've experienced. Um, so I think we'll only see that more and more, honestly.
I think that could actually be really helpful to have kind of like a chat box. And I
Yeah,
know some or a chat bot box.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I know like we had talked to Jeff Chambers with Mineral Answers a
hmm
couple of episodes ago, and he was talking about they have a chat bot.
Yeah,
So I can see more owners, more operators coming in and implementing
using
these
that.
chat bots to
hmm
actually help owners speed up the process a little bit,
Right.
especially if it is like, what documents do you need? What are you submitting some documents?
Yeah, like the
Quick
quick
little
little
answer kind of
answers.
things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I mean, a lot of people are starting to use AI even personally as a replacement for Google. So it's kind of how are we matching what people are expecting to receive back in response to what we're actually giving them? I know
Right.
that chatbots in previous years kind of got a bad rep. They a lot of people would get frustrated with them very quickly, or you just feel like you're getting sent in circles. But I do think that there's a lot of really awesome tools available now to actually get you the answers that you need even faster versus kind of feeling like you're stuck in an AI loop
Mhm.
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the oil and gas industry is always so slow at change. I mean, just
hmm
across the board. But I do feel like with AI, we've seen some speed up in that whole process. They've been
Mhm.
implementing a lot more. So to
Yeah.
put it in on the owner relations side makes a lot of sense. And
Makes
it
a ton
seems
of
like it
sense.
would help things out a whole lot.
Yeah. It's almost like, any other company has like a help desk or like customer support. You do see that in, so many different industries. Same thing for us. That's owner relations is like our help desk, I guess. Kind
Yeah,
of the way I think about it. Yeah.
absolutely. That's a great way to think about it. Um, Yeah,
We
kinda
love to
going
help them.
off of that there, I mean, what are some common misconceptions that royalty owners may have regarding owner relations departments? So, really
Yeah.
that helped us, that helpful resource, but what are some misconceptions that may arise?
Yeah. I mean, one that I had like was, oh, they're gonna respond to me within the day, like, and
Mhm,
that's not gonna happen. Um, Sometimes they do. You'll get the smaller operators that do, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. But yeah, that's a big one. Is they're probably not gonna be able to respond in a day.
Mhm,
Maybe not even within the week. Yeah, that's a big one. And like I mentioned earlier, the owner relations people, they may not be able to solve that issue. If it's a title issue or if it's something that's more complex, like they may not that might not be your specialty. So those are a few that I've come across and I've had to learn.
yeah,
Patience.
yeah. We've had to learn a lot of patience with owner relations departments. I know some of the bigger ones are they'll send like an automatic response and it'll say, we'll get back with you in what, 60 to 90 days
Yeah,
sometimes.
Mm.
right.
So yeah, there's a lot of patience in this world.
Right.
But that's where
Yes.
having your information prepped in advance and
Yes.
submitting your inquiry in a way that's as easy for them to reply to as possible is, I would assume, a helpful step there.
Yeah,
So
super
definitely,
ideal. Yeah,
it it only gets more frustrating the more back and forth you have to get to your solution.
so true.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Like, speaking of that, I mean, Emily, I know you've got a presentation coming up with NARRO.
Yeah.
If you don't know, that's the National Association of Royalty Owners. So we're
Hmm.
super excited about listening in on
Mhm.
that presentation.
It's gonna be
Um,
fun.
like, we're talking about documents and like having all your ducks in a row, but what do people need to prepare? Like, what does that mean when it comes to actual documents that they need to provide to an operator?
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, depends on your request. So if I'm wanting to like change my address, right? I am gonna most operators use a change of address form. So that's super helpful. I know I've emailed operators in the past and they're like, hey, you have to use our change of address form. So that's a big thing. You can go online and pull that and then send it to them, and it's one less step. If you're trying to change ownership, actual like records, say somebody passed away in the family, or you wanted to convey or give your minerals to somebody else, they're going to need a little bit more, recorded deeds, the will, um, things of that nature. So just having the W-9 is super important. I don't know
Hmm.
how many operators, I mean, seriously, like that's just standard. Have your W-9s on the desk, ready to roll, because they're going to
We
ask
ac-
you for it.
we actually keep a copy of a signed W-9 for all of our clients in our
Hmm.
records, so we can just shoot it over whenever it's asked for. It makes life
That's
really
nice.
easy. So that's kind
Yeah,
of um, a simplicity aspect, I suppose. So in your records, keep just a signed W-9 ready to
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
update the form every now and again, because they'll
Yes.
push back. They'll want the updated one.
Yes. Update your forms.
Yes. Super
What
simple
about
things.
when it comes to like probate matters? I know we've talked to a few attorneys as well when it comes to probate matters, but
Hmm.
what documents do they need to prove? So they need to have like a will,
Hmm.
um,
Death certificate.
death
Uh,
certificate. Okay.
yeah, like affidavit of heirship. The documents that are pointing to, hey, these are my successors. Like these are the people that are running my estate now. Letters of testimony, like things of that nature. They'll need to provide to the
Okay.
Hmm.
operators. Yeah,
And letters testamentary, that comes from the court. So with a like an order naming that executor and then
right
the
from
letters
the judge.
testamentary. So
Yep,
make sure to have all of that in order because a lot of them won't even talk to you. If you're not the executor and you're not named by the court,
they're not gonna they're
they
not gonna
don't
touch
have to
you.
give you
They won't take
information.
you. No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very important. You may be the only child, but they
Right.
didn't know that.
Yes.
Right.
They do not know that.
They do
Yep.
not know that.
It goes back to the more information you can provide, the better.
Yep.
Yes.
Always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when people are gathering and storing that information, keeping up with their contacts at different operators that they may own minerals within, how
Yeah.
do you recommend that people organize all of that information, the contact info, the documents? What's your thought there?
Super simple answer is I keep an Excel spreadsheet, right? And it's got operator name, it's got their email, maybe secondary email. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times they'll have like the general owner relations email. And then when you get in touch with somebody, I always like, okay, I'm gonna copy that email and save it. Because now I'm talking with a person. Um, and a phone number. And then, some of these operators, they're still old school. Like Buffy said earlier, it takes our industry a while to catch up with the times.
Hmm.
Um, and so taking their physical mailing address, and I just throw all that information into an Excel spreadsheet and just update it regularly. Um, yeah, I don't know, Buffy, is there any other thing that you do?
I think that's a great point because
Yeah,
and keep it with your estate planning documents. And on top of that, keep a list of the operators that you're currently receiving revenue from. Or if
Hmm.
you've got a lease, you have it all in one area. So if you need to prove that you're the lease owner or that you've got an interest in this particular well, you've got the lease right there and it's ready to go so that you can just send that document over to the operator
hmm
quickly and with a W-9.
Yep.
with the
Yep.
W-9.
Yeah.
Always a W-9.
Always throw them in the
W-9.
W-9.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
W-9 spreadsheet of all the contact info,
Yep.
leases, and other documents all stored in a location close to each other
Yes.
is really helpful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
Yes.
helpful.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so say I'm an owner myself and I'm trying to call an owner relations team. What happens if, or what should I do if I can't get a hold of anyone and it feels like it's taking a lot longer than I would expect?
Yeah. Well, we have our handy dandy friend called the certified letter. Um, it's basically after you've exhausted all your options, right? Like,
Yeah,
Kindle, you've called, you've emailed
I'm
again.
exhausted. Yeah.
Yeah, you're tired at this point. Yeah, and I get that. Um, yeah, you'll draft a certified letter, and you'll mail that to them, to the
Hmm.
operator directly. And basically, it puts the operator on notice. So they have 30 to 60 days by Texas Natural Resources Code to respond to that letter.
Hmm.
So it really is, you're putting the operator on notice. They have to respond, and they at least have to acknowledge that, hey, we've received your communication. We're working on your request.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's certified letter. He's your last resort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know what?
definitely.
I think one important thing about that is as they don't have to have an answer for you within that time frame,
It's a
Right.
but they do need to
response.
respond to you with
Yeah.
that because there are definitely situations that are really complicated. Like if
Hmm.
Hmm.
they haven't paid you in 2 years and there's interest that's owed on that, and
Yeah.
that may take some calculations, some verification on their side, some like really running back to see where that
Right.
royalty was paid, why it wasn't paid, that kind of stuff. So it may take longer and just be patient when it comes to that. I know that's a
Yeah.
hard word and it's a real hard lesson for us all to learn.
Yes.
but, but it can get really expensive if you have to go the legal route and actually get
For
an
Hmm.
sure.
attorney involved. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
like
you
a
want to
thing.
definitely.
exhaust all those options.
Yes.
No, for sure. And that's why so many operators do have those owner relations teams to make sure that doesn't need to be a step that's reached, I would imagine. So
Yeah.
definitely
Absolutely.
important there.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
What
Do you
about
have
you?
any like funny anecdotes or funny stories that
Yeah.
you can tell us about owner relations stuff?
Ooh. Mm. Me on the spot. I love
We've
it.
we've talked about everything on this this
We have.
podcast series. We talked about selling minerals on eBay. We've talked
Yep.
about so if there's
No way.
any stories that you can share with our audience, I know
That
that
is
kind
hilarious.
of just the real day to day is what people love to hear about.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think. I do have many funny stories. Um, One is with actually a specific. There was an owner I was chatting with, right, one time, and they were struggling with getting in touch with their owner relations of this oil company, and then it kind of goes off into a tangent on how he's the biggest mineral owner that I've ever met. And I've never met this man, right, in person. Like,
Right.
I'm like, well, sir, we haven't met yet. And he proceeds to just tell me all of his like ownership and how much he owns. And I'm like, that's very impressive. Thank you. Let's get back to the
Yeah.
topic of like contacting your operator. And yeah, that he stuck with me because he really thought highly of his ownership. Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah,
That is.
yeah.
Lots of mineral owners out there. It's definitely.
Yes, there's a ton.
Yeah.
There's a
Yep.
ton. Yeah. He forgot in that moment that he was frustrated with the operator because he was excited about how much he owned. Yeah. That
This.
stuck with me.
Yeah.
That's a good
That is a
one.
good one.
Yeah.
What about on the okay, so what I'll kind of backtrack a little bit, but like I at Whitley Penn, we work with the National Association of Division Order Analysts as well.
Yeah.
And so like really harnessing those relationships I think is really important.
Mhm.
Um like how do you feel about like getting in touch with specific people and like using that to mineral owner advantages, but also like not overusing it to where you're
Yeah.
into that person, right? That's we don't want to do that
That's a good
either.
point. Yes. Yes. Because I have had it to where they're like, "Hey, you're contacting me like a lot." Like, there's a balance between, if you get in touch with somebody, it's great. That's awesome because now you have that relationship, you have that, contact there. But it's not a green light, in my opinion, to just like blow their email up all the time or give them a call all the time. So yeah, I think it's just finding that balance. And if and when you find somebody super helpful, like I always tuck them aside and I'm like, okay, I'm really going to reach out to them when I like genuinely need an answer, instead of just hammering them with smaller stuff. Um, that's kind of the balance I've found. I've definitely gotten some pushback from operators, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just try to find that balance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. That balance of, hey, I need help, but not every situation is an emergency at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
you've got to kind of prioritize your level of help needed and when
Yes,
and where and all of that. So
yes,
yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely a good point there.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and you kind of shared the story about this mineral owner. Are there
Mhm.
any success stories that you can share with the audience that you've had in your role? And
Yeah.
tell us about one of those.
Yeah, for sure. I actually just kind of wrapped up a success, honestly, for one of our clients.
Hmm.
It was with yeah, yeah, super exciting. Um, and it's with this operator. It's Vital and Crescent. They had a merger.
Hmm.
And mergers are always fun because the two operators, they don't their systems don't communicate well to each other 9 times out of 10. And so yeah, we had this one issue and I ran it down and I nobody could get a hold of anybody. It was like ghosted. They ghosted everybody.
Hmm.
Like our whole team was like, anybody got anybody? Like we need some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got this one lady and I mean, like I got on the phone with her and she answered my phone call. She was like, I'm working on this for you. And we ended up tracking down like suspended funds, which are just funds that are held and they haven't been released to our owner yet,
Yep.
for a number of reasons. And with interest payment on top of that. So, it was a big win for our client, but that all stemmed from one contact at an operator that had just gone through a big merger.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, that was a big success for me. I was excited, very excited.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's huge to be able
yeah,
to leverage the connection there and to really make the best scenario happen on behalf of the client. That's a great story to share for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say it's not like it is a process. Like that was over the course of a couple months.
Yep.
So sometimes they're quicker, but sometimes it can just take a little bit longer. But if you're in it for the long haul and you've got a good contact, it's a good outcome most of the time.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
we're hoping for. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Would
We
love a
love
good
it.
outcome.
Well, and being able to resolve that issue, because that gets something off of the operator's plate as well. I mean, 'cause they're having to hold suspended funds, so they're responsible for that money.
Yeah.
And they don't really wanna be responsible for money that's not theirs at that point, because that can
Right.
be problematic in a couple different ways. And then it also requires them to escheat that to whatever state that the minerals are in usually. And
Right.
so that's extra paperwork. That's extra, like, staffing arrangements that they have to do. So they can get money out the door and get it paid to the right person, they're usually happy campers about that. And that's
Yeah.
so if we can help them help
Yeah.
our
Help them
clients,
you.
even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
connecting the dots so that everybody wins
Yes.
is really the
Exactly.
role there for sure.
Yeah.
Most
Exactly.
definitely. Well, and our next kind of question that we wanted to talk through was focused on M&A anyway, so I figure we can just kind of roll with that one. So, how, Emily, do mergers and acquisitions affect royalty owners? So, in this scenario, obviously there was an effect because we needed to get those funds, and but what
Mhm.
steps should owners take when their operator changes or when there is a transaction
Yeah.
in the company there?
Yeah, that's huge for an owner, I think. A lot of times the previous operator will send out notice like, hey, so and so's acquired your assets. Here's their contacts. And that's great when that happens. Those are really important pieces of information to save. And I would just go ahead and throw it in your operator contact spreadsheet that you're keeping. And you can be proactive and reach out to the new operator and say, hey, here's my name. You may not have your owner number. It may switch from one operator to the next, but you
Hmm.
can go ahead and email them and request that. A lot of times they'll send information too once they have everything switched over. But that's really important. I would say keeping those operator notices until you start receiving the revenue checks from the new operator. And then, I mean, making sure when you do get that new payment, like making sure you're getting paid on every single well you were in pay on with the old operator.
Hmm.
Because like I said earlier, they just don't communicate well. Not every operator, some of the transitions are smooth, And we're grateful for those. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's good practice to make sure, hey, I was in pay over here, I'm in pay over here. So those are big things that I look out for.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's a really good point. And check the decimal interest, make sure they're the same from operator to operator.
right.
And then not all states require a division order for payment.
Hmm.
So like Texas does, so you will probably
Yeah.
receive a division order from new operator, but
Right.
you might not receive one for Oklahoma or Louisiana or some other
Pennsylvania.
state. So
Yeah.
just be aware of that. But I 100% agree. Like until you receive revenue from that merged or acquired entity, um, don't lose that contact information because that is pretty much invaluable. And if you let too much time go by, all of it, you don't know who the owner, you don't know who that operator is anymore, and you completely forget who everything got sold to, and then you have to go do some research. So make your life easy.
Yes.
Save that
Yeah.
document.
Yes.
Update your spreadsheet whenever.
Update
Yes.
that
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yes, your
Immediately.
spreadsheet, your software, whatever it is that you use to keep yourself
Any
in
of the above.
line,
Yeah.
update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the updates.
Good
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that kind of gets us through a lot of the main topics and questions we wanted to focus on for today, specific to owner relations. But I
Yeah.
know at the beginning of this episode, Buffy, you mentioned that Emily will be speaking somewhere this week.
Ooh,
Emily, do you want to
yeah.
share a little bit about
Yeah.
time and day and what your topic will be at the conference this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Buffy mentioned that I'm speaking at NARO, which is the National Association of Royalty Owners, specifically our Texas convention, which is going to be down in Austin. Shout out Austin. And it'll be at the Omni Barton Creek, which is a great resort. So it's a
Beautiful.
win-win, honestly. I'll be speaking on Friday morning at 9 a.m. and I'm actually talking about owner relations. So we're going to deep dive even more into what we're chatting about today. And I think it'll be a really good conversation. We'll record the presentation and post it on NARO social media later on. So yeah, it's going to be a great time. I'm excited.
It'll be fun.
Awesome.
And I'll be there.
Awesome.
I'll be listening. It'll be
Yes,
great.
you will. Woo!
Perfect. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have a crude bit of humor is traveling to Austin for Friday.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
Out in the wild.
Yeah. If you see us, come say
wild.
hi.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
Yes.
I know that everyone listening is excited to hear more, Emily, and for those that'll be at NARO this week, I hope that you have safe travels and really enjoy your time in Austin. But truly, thank you, Buffy and Emily, for spending the time with us today and joining us for this episode. For those listening, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or listen right on our website at whitleypenn.com/podcast. If you're interested in receiving more episodes straight to your inbox, check the link in the description to sign up for our email list. Thank you all again. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks, Emily and Buffy.
Yeah. Bye.